Hey everyone, and welcome back. It's been a while since I've gotten any content out, so we're gonna get back to making some YouTube videos, back to gameplay. Finally got a new PC, finally got some free time where I'm not killing myself working all the time. So with that, let's jump into Aska. There's been a recent update. I like to see how that goes while we test out our new settings in UPC and get everything tuned in. So we're gonna try to keep this one short on episode 1. That way I can go back, review, and see what we did to fix. With that, everything stayed the same pretty much in Aska. The only thing you'd want to really change is in settings. You might want to change your autosaves and adjust how those work. So to do that, you would open your settings, go to the far right tab at the top for gameplay settings. Here you might want to also go to audio and adjust your music sounds or whatever, like I've done, just to get them so they're not so loud. And then you'll want to come down and make sure that if you've opened the game before and you want to see it again on the show intro video, you can turn this back on so it'll show one more time. And since we did a test play, ours obviously needed to be turned back on. And then the next thing would be right here, autosave style every morning and the various other settings in there. I'm not going to mess with that. We're going to leave it alone. And then make sure you hit apply changes. And from there, we're going to reload the seed that we're using for our test play so that we know where everything's at and can get a quick start. I didn't beat the game or fully unlock everything in it. I just ran around, found some of the POIs, and figured out where I wanted to build so we could save a little bit of time. Otherwise, you might waste 2 or 3 in-game days finding the location you want. If you're like me, you build near caves and beaches. But let's go ahead and get in there and we'll go over that in just a second. So obviously you can change your character if you want to. You can pick the guy Ragnar, or you can go with Aska and you can do some other settings here and there. I'm not going through that. Check that out on your own if you want to. But I do want to play as Ragnar. And then we'll go to single player. Here you would load your game if you already had one started. If not, click on new game. We're going to go to normal mode like we normally do. And then here is where you would load your seed if you have a specific seed you want. I'll probably put this one in the description, so if anybody else wants to play the same seed and save time, it'll be there for you. At the top, you can name your game whatever you want. Session 2 is fine for me. And then we go ahead and grab that seed. I'm going to copy it into here, and then we'll get started. So I got the seed put in, and we're going to hit start.
In the days before, the gods gave us the spark of ambition, which lit the fires of creation. They gave us a world of our own, a home. They made us builders, warriors, legends. They gave us everything. But our hubris overcame us. We thought ourselves to be gods instead. We tore apart their memory, and so we were punished. Everyone, everything cast into the fire. Yet some of us were spared. To start again.
And we are in game. Looks like the Jote might have shipwrecked us here. I'm not really sure how the storyline worked here, but he should be wandering off momentarily. And from there, we're on the beach at our shipwreck. If we press M, as in Mike, we can see our map. Right here is a marker for it. If you don't want to see that on your compass, just click on it. That green eye right here on the left will go away. That works the same way for everything. Now we're getting notifications that the gods will send to us throughout the game as we complete and achieve different things. So right now it wants us to rebuild all the tribe. We'll need to build a bunch of stuff to get that going. So let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, basic survival game. Tactics are here. So on the lower left corner we have food, which is the red circular wheel. Then next to that is water, so we need to stay hydrated and fed. And next to that is temperature. If you get too cold, you'll take a ton of damage. Then we'll move to the top of the screen. That is our compass. As you can see, there are a few icons on there, such as north and the shipwreck. We can turn those on and off as needed. To the right of that, we have spring right next to the mini-map showing us what season we're in. The seasons are very important. You do want to get ready for winter. It tells you how long that lasts and what day it ends at. So we have 5 days of spring left, then it'll go summer, autumn, winter, and then back to spring. And then our temperature, our number of villagers, and our days survived. Next to that, like I said before, is the mini-map. And then in front of us, we have this little wisp. Let's go ahead and check him out really quick. So if you talk to the Wisp, this is like your basic tutorial. It'll walk you through everything, tell you what your next task should be. Eventually it'll go away, and then you're free to play it however you feel like. Right here you can read this if you want to. We'll just pin it, and it tells us roughly what we want to do. So press Z as in Zulu to highlight resources around you. So we'll hold down Z. And you'll see anything that's yellow and gold like this. Those are resources that you can gather, so you would just hold E to pick those up. We don't need any of this thatch right now, so we're just going to leave that alone, but this driftwood is a good source of wood, so we can grab some of that. Right now all we really need is wood, i.e. sticks, fiber, and small stones. If you'd like to, you can gather some of this Jotun blood right here. That way we can summon in a new villager as soon as we get to that point of the game. Just don't grab too much because we do have limited storage at the moment. So now if we look in the center of our screen, you see your typical menu, 1 through 0, that's your hotkeys to swap between tools, weapons, food, etc. Above that is the white stamina bar, so if you hold down shift, you're running. If you press shift, you're going to dodge roll in whatever direction you're using WSAD for. And above that is your hit points, and then above that would be status icons. Right now you see 2 arms flexing because we're well hydrated and we're well fed, so that increases your stats like stamina regen, strength, speed, etc. And from there, if you press I, you can see your basic inventory where we have small items. So in small items, that would be like your fiber, your food, and your Jotun blood, and some other things you'll get later on. Below that would be sticks, bark, thatch, and then below that would be like large rocks and logs, and you can only carry one of those. Now I need to figure out where we're at on the map, but we can cover some of the basic resources really quick. So like I said, driftwood is a good source of sticks. These flower looking plants right here, that is flax, but let me back off of it for a second. If you press Z as in Zulu again, you can see like the large stone is really bright. Most of the other resources are. The flax does not show up quite as well, so you will have to look for these a little bit, but they are plentiful. But grab as much of this as you can as you find where you want to build at. Another good resource to start looking for right now while we're running around would be these. These are berry bushes. It's a good source of water and food. It'll keep you fed. And the gods are going to send you constant things saying that they favor you as you do more and more and level up. This right here is a natural water collector. You want to keep a couple of these around wherever you decide to build your city so that you can turn them into wells. They will help you a lot the closer they are. But you can just hold E right here to drink from it, or R if you need to fill up your canteen. And that was a small stone. If you need small stone, the best way to get it is mining, but there's tons of it on the beach, so if you can't find it, just go to the beach, look around, and there will be plenty of it. If you press left mouse button, you will attack. If you do right mouse button, it's a strong attack, so if something has a shield, you can break it. You can jump and attack as well. Just remember, all that uses up stamina. And there should be a couple of enemies floating around here. We'll definitely want to kill some of them. If you get 3 to 5 of them, you'll get one of the god favors from Thor. So these guys right here. Now let's go ahead and look at him. Above him is red and yellow. The yellow is their block / defense. If you break that, it will stun them. And then the red, of course, is their hit points. So now we have 3 of them on us. These aren't very strong, so you don't have to worry too much about them. Just don't go AFK. Now you see we're out of stamina, so we're swinging slow. And that yellow bar will regen. It's not so important on these guys, but on guys with weapons and shields, it's extremely important. And Thor favors us after killing 3 of those. And we'll grab their fibers. If you press Z again, you'll see that they dropped us sticks and fibers, so we want to grab that. And then our wisp popped back up with something else for us, so we'll go to him, hit E to view the hint. He wants us to build a simple fire. I'm not going to build a fire until we get to the location that we want to go to. So I'll see you guys in just a minute once I run over there. I think I covered enough of the basic resources, except for one, which it would be garlic. If you got hurt, find you some garlic and just keep pressing Z as you run around and you'll see it. And garlic will allow you to heal right now. It's the only way you can heal off the top of my head. Well, it's the only way you can heal right now until you get further in the game. And we just found some garlic right here. So if we hold down Z, there it is right there. Just hold E to gather it. You can see we lost a couple of hit points, so we'll go into here. You can eat it. You can eat it from your hotbar as well. And then you'll see those plus icons or those medic icons appear above your hit points. That means you're currently healing. It looks like we found a little location here. Yep, some old ruins. So this is another POI. You'll find these all over the map. And again, if you don't want to look at them, just click on it and it will disappear from your compass. But it will stay on your map. And your wisp should follow you unless you do too much stuff, then he'll stay in one area. But like I said, let me go find what I'm after, which is a cave. I always like building near caves, so once I find one, I'll show you how to locate one. Pretty much just run around the map though, pressing Z, and for POIs, you have to get close to them. Just be careful, some of them will have enemies standing around them. Alright guys, so we found the cave I was looking for. So you can see the coastline, or you can barely see it, but the coastline's pretty close to it. And then on the way here, it's a straight shot from where we spawned in for the most part. We've ran across some old ruins, a Wolfguard Den, another cave, and a couple other things of interest like a lake. You can build whatever you want to, but this is where I want to build. I like to be near a source of iron and a source of fish. Now when you build for your first settlement and wherever you want to start at, you want to make sure you kind of find like a level ground. You want to make sure it's not full of birch trees, but that there are birch trees nearby. You will need a ton of these. You just won't be able to harvest these just yet. And then the other resource that's really important here is you want to save at least 2 or 3 of these nearby, because you will need them. Not just for you to drink from, but to build wells on. And it's going to help with other things like cooking down the road. So right here we've got 2 and 1 down there, so that's 3. We're surrounded by birch trees on that side, and then we have tons of fir trees on this side. Now if you use your mouse wheel, you can zoom in and out in case you want to change your camera angle. At the moment we'll need to build some tools so we can harvest these, but we can gather these small dwarf spruces to get us some sticks, so we're ready to start gathering tools. But we need to follow the quest line. It'll kind of get us going, which would be build the simple fire. We can skip through it if we really want to. And these blue rocks right here, we can cover those really fast too. These will give you Jotun blood and stone, small stone and large stone. But this guy wants us to build that small fire. It's driving him crazy, so he keeps spawning all over the place around us. And the other important thing to make a note of when you start your building, you want to decide what level you want to build at. If you plan to keep everything level, if you just kind of plan to throw it all together, that's fine too. I like to level my stuff, so I think we will try to kind of find like an in-between the 3 of these. These 2, as you can see, are almost on the same plane, and that one's a little high. So we will probably build right here next to this one for now, and if we have to, we'll just build like a little slope here. So to build, press B as in Bravo, and that'll bring up your build menu. And then if you click right here, you can see bushcraft. It'll bring a simple fire. Everything that's grayed out will unlock as you achieve more and more buildings and items. So let's go ahead and go here, and we'll click on build for that. It's going to take some sticks and a little bit of fiber. Once you set down your build, then go ahead and press R to supply it with the resources. Now we can press R again to add sticks to it to make a fire. We can hold E to ignite it, and then we can press T to open the simple menu on it if we wish. Now here's another help menu that's going to tell you what you can do. This is going to happen every time you talk or interact with something. Just click down here, don't show this again once you understand it. And then here you can see that we can build this campfire. The simple campfire can now be built into the campfire using small stone and sticks. But while it's nighttime, I'm going to go ahead and gather up some more resources, and then we'll get back to it. Again, our cave is over here. I'm trying to remember if I actually showed that or not. So this is the unexplored cave. Once you find one of these rocks, it'll glow yellow. Don't worry about it, can't do much with it right now, but eventually we'll build into here and start a mine. Now if you ever lose your wisp, he does show up on the actual map, and you can see him on the mini map. Eventually, like I said, he will go away once you complete all the tasks. So let's just go ahead and pin this one. He wants us to build the improved fire, which I need to gather resources for, like I said, so let's go ahead and get started on that. And in case you're scared you're going to lose where you started your build at, just press M on your map. You'll see either the fire, or you can place a marker by left clicking. You can left click anywhere else to move it, and then you can click on it to take it away. I like to leave one where I can see it and it's easy to run back to. Okay, so we're back at our little campfire. Let's go ahead and get this upgraded, which is the next quest, to build the improved fire. So look at your fire or whatever building you're trying to upgrade, press T as in Tango, and it will open this menu. Go ahead and hit build, and then we'll add the sticks and the small stones that it wants by pressing R. And again, the gods will constantly be hounding you, sending you things that you earn their favors. This will unlock other stuff in the game later. Then wait, your wisp will pop back up. Always a good time to gather resources. And just make a note, there's tons of food like onions and stuff. We can cook this later and we'll go over that. But garlic is what's safe to eat right now to get hit points back if you need to. If my wisp hasn't popped back up yet, we're gonna go ahead and open the campfire menu again. Campfires will go out if it rains, so we're gonna put a fire cover on it. After the fire cover, you're gonna eventually want to add the barbecue so you can cook. So let's go ahead and do the fire cover first, add build, and then we can add supplies to it as needed. We need bark and rope for that. So then we can press B as in Bravo, come to our first menu here, which is materials, and you can build single rope, single stone blade, or you can do 5 of each. I prefer to do the 5 of each, that's why we've been gathering on the way here. And with that, I heard the wisp pop back up, but I think we completed what he wanted us to do. And we're getting more favor as we go. Now we can add that rope to this. And then we're going to need bark. In order to get bark, we're going to have to build an axe. So we need to go back down here to our tools menu, and there's a stone axe here. Let's go ahead and craft that. We're going to need a stone pickaxe. Let's go ahead and make one of those. We'll also need the wooden hoe, so let's craft one of those. And you're going to need a wooden hammer in a minute, so go ahead and make one of those. The stone knife, the simple torch, the fishing rod, and everything else here, we don't need just yet. unless you're killing animals like that deer we have right there. You can see them wandering around. You'll need a knife if you want to harvest them. I don't plan to deal with them right now. We'll just eat berries while it's spring. Now that we've made the axe, we can come up to these smaller trees and we can hold R to harvest them. And they'll fall down. You can cut up their tree stumps if you want. That'll give you firewood. And then we can cut this down or into smaller pieces, and then we will get resin, the tree bark that we need to complete the build, long sticks, and then regular sticks. And since our wisp is back, let's go ahead and talk to him again. We can pin what he wants. He wants us to build a shelter now. So go ahead and grab one of these long sticks because we're going to need it in just a second. We're going to haul it up here. And then press E and just throw it back on the ground. Let's go ahead and supply our bark to this. We'll need more of these little trees. We'll get into the big ones too. You can cut these medium-sized ones down now as well if you want. Make sure that you're cutting trees down in the area that you plan to build in, otherwise they'll be in your way. And I should have said this, your tools do have durability, so if you look at the hotbar at the bottom, you can see like this stone axe that we're using is slowly wearing out. Don't worry about it. Those are cheap, easy resources to get. We can always repair it. Or not repair it, but replace it. So the more you cut trees, the more you gather, the more you cook, the more you do anything in this game, the more proficient you become and the faster it becomes. So right now it's going to be a little bit slow, but once you start summoning more settlements or more villagers to your settlement, then you will have an easier time as you can assign tasks to them to take care of things for you. And remember, these resources will not last forever on the ground, so pick them up as you can, but don't pick up too much right now as we don't have any storage. Alright, so we've added all the items to this cover. Now we can use our hammer that we built, hold E, and then we will build it. And you can see we get more favors. So let's go ahead and lay down our shelter that they're asking us to build. In order to do that, it says right here we need to build a shelter, which will be under our bushcraft. It's going to take long stick, rope, regular sticks, and bark. So go ahead and build that. It's pretty small, but you're going to need shelter to keep your people happy. Managing their happiness, their hunger, and everything else is part of the game. So it's like a Viking survival city management game. So you can use E and Q to rotate this whichever way you want. Certain things will not let you build on it if it's in the way, as you can see with that tree. And you want to avoid building in certain areas like on top of these water springs, because then they will be destroyed. Or if you need to level, it will destroy them too, so be really, really careful because you're going to want those. So let's go and lay this down by pressing left mouse button. And then on this one, we'll zoom in with our mouse wheel, and you can see there's these 4 yellow squares. And that's what the hoe is going to be for. So just press E, our character will equip his hoe. And then we will go ahead and level this out. And now it will give us a pile of things that it needs in order to be built. If you press Q as in Quebec, it will pin the recipe to the top left of your screen. So it shows you what you're building and what it costs to finish. So we need 2 of those long sticks, which I think I just destroyed that one we brought over. Oh, nope, there it goes. It popped back up. Let's go ahead and press R to supply that, and we'll grab one more. And then place that on there. It turns green. Build it. There's going to be 2 or 3 processes or parts to building this shelter. And we ran out of stamina. So go ahead and eat food and get your bonus stats back. That way you're at max hydration, max food, and you regen stamina faster. And this next part requires rope and sticks. Go ahead and press R to add some. And then we need 1 more long stick. Again, if you can't find your items, just press Z and you'll see what all's laying around you. Now we need 6 more pieces of bark, so let's see if we got done enough trees or if we need to grab a few more. So bark's going to be these flat looking pieces. Later on there's a faster way to get it, but for now this is the best we can do. And you can see we're at 4 out of 6, so it looks like we need to cut down 1 more tree. Go ahead and add our bark, then we'll build this, and our shelter will be complete. And here's our new shelter. You can lay in here and rest if you want to. Most of this is going to be for assigning our first summon to when we summon our first villager. So if you want to, go ahead and press T here again. We can go ahead and start working towards making our barbecue. So we'll just click build on that. And then you'll see like there's different menus here, so we can still add the fuel and start the fire, but we want to add rope here so that that's started, and then it needs more sticks. We have plenty of sticks laying around, so let's go ahead and grab some of those while we wait for the wisp to show back up. And then we'll build the barbecue. Now we can cook food if we need to. So when the barbecue is made, go ahead and, well, you don't have to add fuel since we just built the fire. It's still at 100%. So we can hold E to ignite it. And then you're going to look above it. You have to get, you'll see it highlight. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm saying. So right here, the fire is highlighted. Then here we're highlighting our cooking rack, and then here you can highlight and use your storage if you have food to put in there. But for now, let's just go right here, press E to cook while looking at the spit over the fire, and we picked up an onion. Just right click it, it'll move over. Watch this bottom bar, that's cooking it. Some things you can cook long and you'll get a better quality item. Other things you cook long, it'll just burn it. Once that bar is full, it's complete, and you see it changed colors, and it's now a cooked onion. So you can just eat it from here if you want to by left clicking on it, or you can store it in your inventory. We regain health with this, which is good. And then you can always put your fire out if you want to save fuel, which will be important in the wintertime. Or it's just as important to keep them running too, so that your people don't freeze to death. Now let's go see what the wisp wants us to do. And now it says to build the Eye of Odin. This will be the last thing we do on this episode, so I can go and check the quality of the game and sound. For the Eye of Odin, we're going to press B to go back to our build menu, come down here to settlement, and the Eye of Odin is located right here. It's going to take long sticks, small stone, and large stone. Let's go ahead and build one. And again, if you put this stuff in places you don't want it really, it's just temporary, you can always tear it down and build it elsewhere. So we're just going to set it up here for now, maybe a little bit more over here out of the way. And we'll have to level this ground. And then add our supplies. And then we need 2 long sticks and a few more small sticks. And let me see if I can build a simple torch really quick, just because the game's getting dark. I really don't have to add gamma to it. It takes a little bit of time. So to build a simple torch, you'll need rope, stick, and resin, which we just happen to have plenty laying around. Of course, now that the moon's out, you can actually see pretty well, so let's just grab the stick and do it. But this is the resin that falls out of the trees when you cut them down. Alright, next stage of the Eye of Odin. Let me go ahead and press Q again to pin it. We need 2 large stones, so let's go ahead and grab those. I prefer right now at this time to get them from these little blue rocks, so that we can get some Jotun blood at the same time. So just walk up to one of these, hold R to harvest. Again, make sure you're doing this in the area where you want to remove and clear so you can have room to build a small city. And then we're going to pick up this small stone because we're going to need more of that. We're also going to pick up the Jotun blood. You can never have too much of it. And then grab the large stone. Place it into the Eye of Odin, and let's go get this last one right here. And now we have our second stone. Let's place that on there and build this out. Odin favors us, heart of the settlement. So now we have the Eye of Odin. And if you, in case you miss whatever the god is favoring you for and you want to see what's next, you can press G as in golf. It'll take you to that menu. And here you can see all kinds of stuff and the different tiers and the different items that they want you to do. Like next, build the workshop pit, build the wooden altar. And you can just go through more tutorials and any other questions you have through these tabs. If you press tab on your keyboard, it'll tell you what's wrong with your settlement right now. But for now, let's go ahead and open the storage of the Odin by pressing T. Here you can see where you can upgrade it. You can also click at the top tab here on the 2 hands. It's got 5 slots in it. That's where you can put 5 pieces of Jotun blood to summon a new villager. Let's go ahead and start one of those. And then here we're on our first 2. You can get Ragnar or Ando. It changes, and I'm pretty sure it's random. Once we get to a higher tier, we can revive villagers that have died. So if we look here, it's going to tell us what their abilities are, and then you have the random ones that come once they respond. So this guy, he lacks physical strength for effective woodcutting, and breaking stones is a challenge. He's not going to be one you want to start with because your first one needs to be able to gather and do things productively. This guy loves daylight. And then next is springtime vitality. So he loves spring. It fills him full of energy. So he would actually work out great while we have 2 or 3 days of spring left. Let's go and grab Endo and then confirm. If you look below your mini-map, you can see that it is currently nighttime based on the moon phase, which is going to clue you into the fact that once the moon gets full, you will run into a blood moon and be attacked. So get ready for that. And then below that is the timer when your next villager will be here based on your summon. And that, guys, is pretty much a good strong start to the game. Like I said, you still have tons of springtime left. Once he gets here, you're going to want to start building a bunch of other things, which we'll go over in the next episode. Hopefully all the audio and picture and quality on this one's good. If not, let me know in the comments and I will do what I can to improve it and fix it. Like I said, I just got a brand new setup, so that's why we're just now returning to making content. And hopefully we can get all the way through this and get into the new update that came out this month, or last month rather. Anyways, guys, if you enjoyed this, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.